Good morning, Monday morning, episode 410, which is kind of insane. But heading to Tel Aviv today, I actually was supposed to meet my boy Yaron, who previously was at Rodium and now has his own VC, but he got a little sick and you don't want to take chances nowadays. So I am starting the day at Samsung Next, meeting my boy Yonatan Machado. After that, Yaron Cãrni from Maverick VC. A lot of VCs. It's going to be an amazing day. Here we go. Made it to Tel Aviv, and look at that parking over there. Forgot what it's like to park in this city, but it is a beautiful day in Tel Aviv, and I'm heading to Sarona right now. I have a little bit of downtime before I meet Machado from Samsung, so I'm gonna go to Bodega, the cafe that I used to have all my meetings in, and I have not been in about a year. So I'm excited to go see the owners over there because they're always super nice to me. Man, I miss Sarona. Okay, vlog number 2 in a year and a half. Wild.
Respect.
Yes. So, I'm sitting here with my boy Machado, who we connected from 18 different directions. First of all, he's very good friends with my...
at least, yeah.
Yeah, he's very good friends with my little brother Eytan. Beyond that, he's a rock star VC. So, give me Machado. Who is Machado? Give me the background. Give me the story.
A happy person, first of all.
Let's go. It's important.
Jerusalemite, born and raised. Husband, father to 3. Leah, Eytan, and Shai. And a VC for the past 8 years. First at JVP for 5 years, and the past 3 at Samsung Next.
What is Samsung Next?
Samsung Next is a software and services innovation arm of Samsung Electronics.
You talk way fast, by the way.
Way fast.
How many coffees do you have today?
No, just one. This is the natural speed, my friend. You just showed me the 5. I'm 5G, my friend. I'm built on 5G.
Did you get vaccinated?
Twice.
Yeah.
But in any case, so we are the body that helps Samsung think more software and services, and we do it through a variety of ways: M&A, partnerships, and ventures. And basically, we look for companies that could benefit from the Samsung ecosystem, from the Samsung hardwares to enable go-to-market, products, services, whatever it is, and and kick ass.
I think most people don't realize just how big Samsung is.
Yes.
Right? Like Samsung.
Yes.
Forget just specifically phones. Do you have, can you give me like a number? How
Yes.
big is Samsung?
Yeah, so actually when I joined, I thought Samsung, in my view, Samsung was, there's a list of like very large corporates and it's just one of them. So
Right.
the revenues, Samsung's yearly revenue is about 2.5 times the Israeli budget. Like Taqtiv Israel, yeah, it's a bit crazy.
wild.
The last numbers I have is like north of $200 billion in revenue. So during COVID, to give you an idea, Q3 of COVID was $57 billion in revenue with $11 billion of net profit.
What's the main source of income for Samsung?
So we have 2 divisions. One division is the one that builds the components. It's called the DS, Device Solutions. So screens, chips, sensors, whatnot. Chips.
Chips.
So actually the biggest, I think one of the biggest customers is actually Apple. I don't know if you knew this, but I think about 90% of Apple screens are built by Samsung. And there's a product division, which
It's actually very surprising. It's surprising that Apple doesn't make their own screens.
It is surprising, and if you see what Apple is doing with Intel now and like the new chips they're building, and I think it's possibly you can think of some of these companies going end to end at some point, but so far it worked well for them. So at the same time, maybe not. Yeah. I think they see the view the chips piece with the AI maybe to be more of a core competency, so maybe not. On the product side, I think most people know most of our product, which is of course the mobile, the tablets, the watches, the buds, the fridges, and so forth. But we also have a networking business unit. It's actually the 5G infrastructure. We're a leading player there.
So you're like Huawei competitor.
Huawei and Nokia, Ericsson, or whatever. And I think while in the 3G, 4G spaces, they're clearly the 2,000 gorillas. I think in the 5G, Samsung is beginning to look like a very legitimate tier 1 player up and coming. And so naturally, we also seek investments in that realm.
Very cool. So what's your role at Samsung Next?
So I'm a senior investment director where, that doesn't mean much, but really what I do is I lead investments here in Israel across vertical in the areas we look at. But my main focus is healthcare, where I lead our healthcare investments globally. Looking at companies literally from Australia to India, MENA region, Europe, and the States. So time zone management is a blast these days, but it's really fun.
I'm just curious, why is Samsung Next located here in Israel?
So we have HQ in Mountain View and offices in a few other places in the world. I think Samsung and Samsung Next was looking for those few hubs where a presence would yield an unproportionate value for the organization. And I think the combination of the naturally, we all know of the benefits and the per capita numbers of the Tel Aviv and Israel ecosystem, but more importantly, I think those core technologies that are super strong in Israel are also super relevant for Samsung.
Right, like AI
Exactly. So from computer vision to sensor innovation to AI,
healthcare
and telco, by the way, and 5G and healthcare, of course, another one. So I think it's more than one reason. But from a cost-effective perspective, I think you have one office that covers a very small territory, but such like an unproportionate benefit in that respect. So that's a no-brainer.
How many investments have you made in Israel to date? I'm putting you on the spot, by the way. So early in the morning.
So in Samsung, I did 6 investments. Actually, I approved 2 deals last week, so I would say 7 investments if I count one of them, two in the States.
And how much, all of Samsung, meaning how many investments does Samsung Next make in Israel?
So Samsung Next, we have about 100 investments today, of which about 20 are in Israel. To give you and the Tel Aviv office wasn't present day one. So I think since the establishment by Miller of the office here, we can count this for about a third of the deals globally, just to give you an idea of how significant this office is for the global presence.
That's That's impressive. Yep. Also, I want to give a shout out to Eyal Miller. Eyal Miller, besides looking like Mr. Clean, you remember Mr. Clean?
No.
You know what that is?
No. I'm too young for this.
No, did you grow up in America?
No.
You grew up here?
Yeah.
So Mr. Clean was like a cleaner thing, and he was bald. And he had it was a very famous commercial, whatever. Anyway, so Eyal now runs Samsung Next. Prior to that, he started the Google Tel Aviv campus with Amir Shvat, who you guys know. So now who's on the team right now in terms of so you have Royi. What's Royi's job?
Royi's an investment director here, leading our privacy and security stuff, and he's actually beginning to focus more and more on media these days as well.
Oh, cool.
There's actually an interesting area for us in the world of synthetic media, I think relevant for you specifically in the world where computers can create, the avatars and the people and have computer-generated content and not user-generated content. It's a world where suddenly what you're doing can be done by literally someone behind a keyboard running a cool script, and you have people talking and interviewing.
Right. Do you know for us, Ron Shashua's new venture?
The new bank?
No, he has another one with Ori Goshen. It's AI powered
21A or whatever. Yeah, for sure. And also there's our one. There's a few companies in that space of generating, machine generated content or media, synthetic media, of course the deep fake and those areas. So Royi's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. Awesome or crazy or scary, I guess.
Deep fake is scary.
All of the above.
That is scary.
For sure.
Nuts.
For sure.
Okay, so who else is on the
We have Tal Achituv. Tal Achituv is Ran's brother.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so just like him, very not smart and being cynical, of course, overly smart. He's a technical director.
Yeah.
So as if there was any brain missing in this office, it's like additional brain power. We have Shaked, who runs basically the office, and she's if you know anything about her, she's pure awesomeness.
It's true.
Orli, which I think you know Orli as well.
Orli's still here?
Yeah, Orli's still around. Yes, she's a designer and magic creator when it comes to making us look good. And Avigai Levin was on.
I forgot that she.
Yeah, listen, it's a superstar.
What a team!
Superstar team, my friend.
Holy cow!
And she's on maternity leave, even though he got to keep her in the maternity leave because she's overly, involved and trying to still be around when she's not. But she's a ninja.
Amazing. I was at Aleph previously, and Orli, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but Orli was a really big deal back in the day. She was one of the biggest bloggers in Israel. I think she dated Mike Arrington from TechCrunch. You know that?
I don't know a dating life, but I take your word for it.
Mike Arrington, the founder of TechCrunch. Wow. I'm pretty sure she dated him, but
very cool.
But I know that in the beginning of the whole blogging world, I was a huge I I'm not gonna say stalked, but it was borderline. And she was who is this creep? Now we're good friends, but anyway, Orli's amazing. So you having a good time, dude?
I'm having a blast.
That's the important thing.
Yes.
I know you work hard, but you're enjoying yourself.
That's the main thing. Once you stop enjoying this stuff, that's the time to move on, right?
Amen. Absolutely. And you work with unbelievable people, so I would imagine.
That's easy. Yeah.
And by the way, is the office completely open now, or working from home, or what?
So it's all open. I'm a Jerusalemite, like we said, so you won't see here more than once or twice a week these days. But I think my gang here shows up pretty often. You know what I've been tempted to do over the years, in these situations, is to kind of interview back, like kind of like hijack the interview.
Me?
Yeah, for like 2 minutes.
Do it.
So Hillel, like, you walk around this like heavy camera which you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite part of this? Like, what do you like the most about this interaction with people?
I mean, for me, like, I'm like a kid in a candy store, number one. Like, I meet the most insane, like, brilliant people, and I have total imposter syndrome. Like, why is Yonatan Machado, who's a hotshot VC, even giving me the time of day? Like, I meet these incredible people, and I'm some random guy who just loved tech and started writing. Like, I never done anything big. So it's very weird for me.
Okay, so then you meet a bunch of those people, and like I feel like you've probably got so many people telling you, so just join us. Like, stop, I always track you, like
jump in as a...
Yeah, like you're spread in a way thin, covering so many things, and I'm sure like half of these interactions with you end with like, hey, Hillel, join us.
So, okay,
how come you haven't joined one of those projects?
Two things. Number one, as you know, I did found several startups, which I'm proud to say failed. But more importantly, I think I've kind of created myself a little niche in a very interesting business model that I don't think many people have, which is companies that I don't. By the way, this is going to air after the news comes out, but I made my first exit this week.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is what happened. This is like a case study of my entire business model. Last Saturday night, I get a phone call from a CEO I've not spoken to in 5 years. Literally, he calls me up and he goes, "Hell, you want some money?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You don't remember this, but you helped me in the early days. I gave you options. We just sold." So these companies, like, I help them. They a lot of them. Did I ever show you the Flipboard email? You gotta read this email, dude. This is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable email. Look at this. This is like basically my entire business model in one email. Read this out loud.
Hillel, I won't ever forget your enduring support for what we have been building over the years. It's time we got you some stock and asked you to be a formal advisor.
CEO Flipboard.
I know you wouldn't ask for this, but it's the right thing to do. I hope you'll accept. We're only just the beginning, and I could really use your advice when you have the time. All the best, Mike. Respect.
Mike McHugh, right?
So yeah, to talk about Mike McHugh.
No, so I'm saying, like, when they came out on the iPad, whatever, 10 years ago, I loved the product. So I helped them. I promoted it. I wrote about it. I did my thing. And he came back and he sent me that email. They're a partner of Samsung, by the way, Flipboard. They're pre-installed on Samsung phones.
Not surprised. But last question from me before we wrap up. So you started helping companies, as far as I know, in your business model before you get anything,
Correct.
right? So like most people, they have a first meeting, maybe you get a teaser, but then if you want to get anything from them, you're going to have to pay. And you always go, put your time and effort before you get anything. And this is just like another good example of that. Like, what gave you this belief initially that you're not going, especially in Israel, people don't like, to be a flyer.
Right.
Like, why do you think you can be this flyer who ends up, ending cashing from all this in an amazing way, but in a karma, whatever? Right. How do you do this?
So first of all, don't forget that when I started, this wasn't a business for me. I'm not a tech entrepreneur. I didn't study computer science. I just love tech, and so these entrepreneurs would ask me for help. I'd offer help. It didn't even cross my mind to ask for money, because who the hell am I? But what ended up happening is, and this is kind of my whole entire business philosophy, is when I focus my time and resources on value, right? Whatever that means, introductions or whatever it means, helping with pitches, whatever I do, and the recipient is not paying me, so the recipient has no expectations because they're not paying me. I don't owe them anything, right? When there are no expectations, all I can do is exceed expectations. When I exceed expectations over and over and over again, what I create is delight. It's delightful. These CEOs come to me, I help them. I don't take anything. I don't take finder's fees. I don't take anything. There's no strings attached. They're like, holy hell. Now, delight can be monetized, right? If you think about anything in your life that brings delight, good coffee, you'll pay for that, right? So when the entrepreneurs come to me with hearts in their eyes because I've done so much for them, now we can talk money. Before that, let me help. Listen, it's even deeper than that, because if you were, let's say you were a CEO of a company and you wanted access to Andreessen Horowitz. So I interviewed Mark, right? So he's a friend, let's say. Friendly, okay, let's call him that. He responds to my emails in 30 seconds. So I send him a deck. He's interested, I'll connect him. What did it cost me? 30 seconds, right? Now Mark loves me, the company loves me. I didn't lose anything. So that's my entire business philosophy, basically.
This is what's called magic, my friends.
It works, though. It works, right? I'm working with incredible people. I'm working with incredible companies, and I've never come to a company. Literally last week was the first time I created a proposal. I never even had a deck before. I just do my thing. But it works. It scales. Anyway, dude, this is awesome. You should do it more often. And yeah, man, it's good to see you. Keep kicking butt.
Mutual, my friend.
All right, good to see you, my friend. Take care. Heading to Bodega right now, which is a super cool new burger place in Tel Aviv, kosher, of course. And I'm meeting Yaron Cãrni from Maverick Ventures, and a really, really good friend, and a really, really good person. I don't think I've ever interviewed him before. Maybe I have. I think he was really early on in the vlogging days. But he's a fantastic dude. Excited to interview him. This is my second vlog back. since the beginning of the pandemic. And what better way to come back to vlogging than to interview the one and only Yaron Cãrni. How long do we know each other?
For a while.
Long time, right? So you wear a lot of different hats. You're a VC, but you're also one of the biggest supporters of an amazing organization that I did a whole episode on, Hatzalah Israel.
Huh?
Give me your background. Who are you? What's your story? How'd you get into Hatzalah? Talk to me.
I got into Hatzalah by meeting Eli Beer through Mark Gerson, the chairman. He introduced me to him, and I told Mark, I said, don't invest, don't donate money to frum people. He's going to steal your money. I'm telling you, I have a background. That? I did. I told the main donor of the organization that he should stay away.
From religious people?
No, specifically from Haredi people at the time. And I said he's going to steal your money, and And then I told him I'll go visit myself, and I'll tell you and I'll show you. I went to visit, and that was my very first donation ever to anything as a non-religious person growing up in a non-religious home. I fell in love with the organization, and I ate my hat, and I think that United Hatzalah, if it was a startup, is the biggest unicorn to ever come out of Israel, because think about how much each life is worth, and double that by the thousand.
So what is Hatzalah? Somebody's watching, they don't know Hatzalah.
Hatzalah is an organization that was founded here in Israel that basically is first responders, people that go about their day-to-day lives and have a system sort of similar to Uber, and are told about emergency events around them, and they are like angels. They leave their jobs. They
Not angel investors, angels.
Real angels. Their return is much higher, and they leave their jobs. They go stabilize whoever need be, and they wait till the ambulance comes. Now the organization also has ambulances.
You've saved tens of thousands of lives.
For sure. And think about the periphery of the families of the people they've saved.
It's unbelievable.
And they started all over the world. Orli Yakuel. They've expanded into Jersey City, Ukraine, Brazil, Panama,
unbelievable,
and many other countries.
So I often say to people when I speak of Yaron Cãrni that even though he's not religious formally, he's more religious inside than most religious people that I know. So, okay, there's that hat of Hatzalah. Talk to me about your VC hat.
So I'm the founder of Maverick Ventures,
Israel.
Maverick Ventures Israel. You're absolutely right.
It's going on YouTube. You gotta be careful.
Maverick Ventures Israel, not affiliated with any other organization. And my partner and I, Michelle Abadi, who I met, by the way, in a Chavruta class at Eish Tel Aviv with Shlomo, who you know, Shlomo Chen and Rabbi Ziering.
Love that. Rabbi Ziering, we were in high school together.
I know, of course.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
He is now. Yeah, go on.
And we invest in Israeli startup companies that are in sort of round A stages, companies with initial revenues and traction. We invest up to $5 million usually, $2 to $6 million is our range. And what's interesting about our fund is that we're composed only of private individual investors, over 100 of them that are very helpful to the companies.
And big names too.
Yes,
you can't talk about it, right?
Can't talk about any of the names.
Can you talk about the size of your fund?
Sure. So to date, we manage about $115 million under assets under management, which we had. We sold some and raised some others. And now we're fundraising for our third fund, which is going to be $75 million. We're almost...
Love it. So what don't you invest in terms of spaces?
We do not invest in medical devices, and we don't invest in, as of yet, in anything relating to crypto or marijuana.
And me too.
So
I stayed away from crypto and cannabis. I don't know enough about it. Like, it's kind of like, people have said, it's like the early days of the internet. There's so much garbage, you don't know how to differentiate,
Sure.
So wait, how many investments have you made to date?
We made 37 investments to date. We had 6 exits. We had a bunch of write-offs as well.
That's really good statistics.
Well, yeah, but we have a lot of companies that are, still up and running.
Right.
Times have been a bit difficult nowadays, but others have done extraordinarily well as a result. So
how do you have such good English, by the way? I always wondered about that.
I spent a bunch of years in New Jersey, but nobody ever says New Jersey, so I say around New York.
Where New Jersey and why?
I started in Fort Lee, New Jersey, then in Tenafly, New Jersey.
Why?
Because we were sent there. My family was in Shlichut.
Oh, your dad like a politician or something?
No, he did something else.
Interesting. Okay, so 36 investments, 6 exits, 115 under management, you said?
Yes.
And raising right now.
Our fund is composed of more than half of our staff are women.
Really?
To say, yeah.
Love that.
Danielle and Chen, who's amazing. We had Libby before she was great, and Daniela.
Wow.
Celine.
Is that by design or it just happens to be?
No, from day one. And also the service providers we've always worked with have been women, because women usually have abilities that some men don't have, in terms of having less of an ego, being, more deal makers, and be the change you want to see.
Gotta watch what you say today. Everything's politically charged.
Contrary.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyway, so if somebody wants to follow you online, or Maverick, what's
right,
your
so
website?
Our website is maverick.vc, where you could see our portfolio. We're open to business. We're very much looking forward to investing in Israeli companies. We only invest in Israeli founders. Could be in the States or elsewhere, but only Israeli. And in any field, apart from those that we mentioned. And we're extremely involved with the companies when we're asked. We're also uninvolved when
they don't want you involved.
They want us involved, but in terms
awesome.
of biz dev and finances and all that, we go in as much.
You go very early also, right? Like you seed?
No, we don't do that anymore. We did once or twice, but I did that in my previous hat as the founder of the Tel Aviv Angel Group. But nowadays we only do round days, companies that with
Got it.
actual traction.
Where are we eating lunch right now?
In Tel Aviv, Ir HaKodesh.
Where?
Bodega.
We're eating at Bodega, and I just realized that instead of putting the hamburger that we just ate on the vlog, we just like inhaled it. So right. Joseph, put a picture of that burger so that people see what we just ate.
And we're here because I told you, of your friend Jeremy Lussman that took Hatzalah volunteers here for a meal.
Love it.
That's how I got to know
Jeremy Lussman is the man. He was on the vlog. Anyway, dude, listen, anything I can do to help, let me know. We should catch up more often.
Keep doing shidduchim, all the shidduchim you do for people to find parnasa, to find matches. It's an amazing thing that you do.
Been a good time. It's good stuff. Anyway, dude, really, if there's anything to do to help, let me know, and let's catch up soon. Thanks, dude. It is good to be back. Just made it home. Today was a pretty awesome day. I'm not exactly sure when I'm vlogging next, but should happen soon. See you then.